bleeding are two. Is internal bleeding and external bleeding. Internal bleeding means when you are bleeding and the blood comes out of your body. And external bleeding means when you're bleeding, but you cannot see it from outside. The blood remains on the cavities of your body. Okay? Types of bleeding. First of all is the capillary bleeding. In the capillary bleeding, you have drops of blood, only drops of blood, as you can see here, and it's harmless. It is like scratching, okay? If I do something, if I touch my hand in a sharp surface, I could have capillary bleeding, but it is harmless, okay? In about 5 minutes it will stop. It is not such a big deal. After that is the venous bleeding. The venous bleeding, the blood flows continuously, gently and firmly. It's like a cut of a knife or a scissor when you have a deep cut and you see the blood coming out, and it comes out slowly, slowly. It's not going like that, but it comes out continuously. It doesn't stop easily and it pains, okay? This is the venous bleeding. It has dark red color. The blood dark red color, and it can be throat bleeding, but not necessarily. It can be a serious bleeding, but not necessarily. Okay? And third of all is the arterial bleeding, which is the most serious one. Okay? The blood is spread according to the heart rate. So whatever is our heart rate, the blood is spreading. Okay? If one heavy equipment cuts your hand, you will see the arterial bleeding, because the arterioles that we have in our body are cutting. You will see that when the heart is pumping, the blood is coming, okay? And the blood can be spread up to 3 or 4 meters, okay? So from here, if I cut my head, and the blood can be there, okay, with the heart rate. It has bright red color. The blood is not dark red color. It's bright, very flashy red color, okay? And it is serious bleeding. Every time it is serious bleeding. And sometimes it can cause death. If you don't react really, really fast, it can cause death, because you lose so much amount of blood that you can be dead, okay? Generally, if a bleeding is happening, you have to raise the injured part above the level of the heart. With the hand, it's easy. The level of the heart is here, so you can raise your hand. With the leg, it's not so easy, but if you lie down, it's better to put your leg up. Okay? It is better to lie down and put your leg up. After that, apply direct pressure. Okay? The pressure should last at least 5 to 15 minutes, not less than 5 minutes, and not more than 15 minutes. And can be so strong as it will stop the bleeding will stop, but it will not stop the whole body's blood circulation. That means that it doesn't have to be very, 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 very hard, because this pressure will affect all the blood circulation of the body. It has to be so hard, so the bleeding will be stopped, but not so hard that all the blood circulation will be stopped. Okay? Because after that you can see bruises here. You can see this part become red, and after red, yellow, and after yellow, bluish one. Okay? So this is not good, because it causes problem to the heart. It has to be strong, but not very, very strong, the pressure. And it's the indirect pressure. If it is not possible to press the direct pressure in the part of the body, you can press an indirect pressure by the blockade of the branchial artery. So as you can see here, you just blockade with your hand your branchial artery here, here and here. You put pressure here for the hand, okay? Compression between the fingers of the rescuer and the bone of the arm. You can see in the photo. The fingers and the bone of the arm. Here is the pressure. This is about leg. Compression between the thumb of the rescuer and the public bone. Here you have to put the pressure. One hand from the inside and one hand from the outside. Control of the arterial bleeding in the head. Direct pressure on the wood. On the head, you cannot do a lot of things, okay? If you have a bleeding on your head, just put direct pressure on the wood. As you can see, here is the wood. So you just put a bandage and you have direct pressure on the wood. And then you bandage it around, as you saw in the mountain rescue. The photo I saw you that it was the hand and it was like that bandaged. It was the same. He had a wound here. He was bleeding very much. So we put it in bandage and then we circulated the bandage so it will remain steady. Summarize. The risk of a bleeding are mainly two. Contamination of the wound. The wound will be affected, okay? And shock. It is the hemorrhagic shock. If you lose a lot of blood with the arterial bleeding, you can have a hemorrhagic shock and you can be dead. If you don't act quickly, you can be dead. And the reaction is that I told you, raise the injured part of the body above the level of the heart, cover with something clean, if not sterile, but never fluffy, because the fluffy leaves pieces of the material on the wood and it will be contaminated, so never fluffy. And tie up the wood with pressure, but not a lot of pressure. Okay, normally it is better if you raise the legs, so the blood circulation would be better. And this is about neck injury and spine injury. If you have neck or spine injury, it's better to put something, a blanket here, so the body will be like that. No, don't put here. It is better to put here. Okay? It is better for the spine. Keep the body's temperature steady. Never rub or massage the body. Try to keep the victim calm. Never stop to talk with the victim. Even if the victim doesn't react or doesn't respond, he can listen. Most of the times we think, I'm talking about my experience now, most of the times we think that someone who is very injured and doesn't move, doesn't open the eyes, doesn't react, that he is in a shock and he cannot listen what's happening. Most of the situation, he is listening. And he is listening everything. So if we are not calm, or if I have fight with you that you didn't do that right, why do you do that? And we think that the victim is not hearing, he gets very stressed. Because he can hear everything, but he cannot respond. So after being well, normally they tell us that, you know what? I thought that you didn't know what you do because you were fighting. And we thought that he could not listen. So have in mind that when someone is really injured, normally he is hearing. He is listening, but he is not able to respond. My very necessary to be calm and don't fight with your colleagues. He will listen. Check the victim's breath regularly. Because maybe now he is breathing normally, and after 1 minute he is not breathing. And because he is not moving, you will not understand that after 1 minute he stopped breathing. So every minute, check his breath. So in case there is no breath, you have to start CPR. Check the victim's pulse rate every 10 minutes. And if you see any differences, big differences between the pulse rate, when the ambulance and the doctors will come, you will inform them that that time I saw that something was not normal. It was irregularly. It will help them to do their job. Okay? We encourage the victim and we never leave him alone until the ambulance comes. We never leave the victim to call for help because maybe he will be in a shock or maybe he will stop breathing that time. We have to take someone else to call the ambulance. We don't leave the victim like that and we go for help. Okay? And we never forget to put on our gloves. Gloves are security for us and security for the victim. Okay? I see a lot of people in Greece as well, not doctors, but people who are trying to help, that are not wearing gloves. This is